$680,202. All right. So it's 7:30. I'm sorry I started things off by fiddling around. So what I'm trying to do actually now is go live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I've got some new software. One of my New Year's resolutions, or goals, I should say, I like to set goals rather than resolutions, is to make sure I'm getting on here on a weekly basis. As usual, I know that I've been kind of sporadic with these lives, mainly just things have been busy to say the least. So now I'm setting aside my Wednesdays at 7:30. You can expect me pretty regularly to be on here, talking about different things, answering questions, and you'll either be able to go on Facebook, so facebook.com/elite physique coach, or you'll be able to go on YouTube, and I will post that link in the comments, and you guys can check it out, one or the other. I know a lot of people aren't fans of Facebook these days, so if YouTube's a little easier, we'll be doing the simultaneous screen or stream there. Okay, so I'm just going to do one more tech check here, make sure everything is going well, which it looks like it is. Perfect. And I am going to bring up my screen. So obviously, the world really changed in March. For most of us, it didn't change in such a positive way. I know my frame of mind was pretty negative for the first little while. And I've got my bouts of where I'm not. I've still got some bouts of negativity. But one thing I've got over is the negativity around training. So at first we had gyms closed, and one of it is like, okay, well, what am I going to do for training? I never had a home gym set up. I never really cared for a home gym. I don't like training at a home gym necessarily. I like being around people. So even if I don't talk to a lot of people during the workout, I just like to see other people suffering alongside me, and it motivates me a little bit more. So when this lockdown first happened, I'd say I probably stopped working out for a couple weeks, and just kind of like, what the F? Like this sucks. What's going on? All that negativity, the motivation goes down. But as the lockdown dragged on a little bit, I realized that I needed to come up with a plan. So I can't just get run over by this. Fitness has been a part of my life forever. I don't want to sit there putting on weight, losing, losing the physique I worked for years, losing my sense of health and fitness. I didn't want to lose all of that. So I decided I am going to make a plan. I'm going to train no matter what. So let me just bring up my PowerPoint, which is just going to keep me on topic throughout. But yeah, I noticed, I needed to put together a plan. I noticed that there were actually some surprising benefits to this training. Some that I realized right off the bat. So I knew I was going to do more body weight training. Body weight training is much more functionally effective for your everyday function than weight training is. So simple benefits like that I knew right off the bat. But as time went on, either I learned more new benefits or they came to the top of mind. Um, I haven't worked out in a gym. I've done 2 workouts actually in a gym since March. So basically, I can say I haven't worked out in a gym since March. Now, gyms have opened up since then. Then they've closed down since then, and then they've opened up and they've closed down. They're currently closed down again. So I've just been on this consistent path of doing workouts, not at a gym. I won't say at home because they're not all at home. So first, I want to show you what my basic split looked like during normal times. So when the world was a better place, when there wasn't this craziness of government shutdowns, my program looked like what a lot of you have seen before, especially those that are more into the bodybuilding end of things. Day 1, I did my legs. Day 2, I did my chest. Day 3, I did my back. Day 4, shoulders and triceps. Day 5 for me, it was chest and biceps again. So chest is a muscle I always looked at as kind of a weak link on the physique. So I trained it twice a week. But people that are more on the bodybuilding side of things probably recognize this split. It looks very familiar to you. So I did the same split, not much change to it. Now the phases changed every week. So, or every 4 weeks, I should say. So I would do 4 weeks of the same training. So week 1, I'm getting used to the training. Week 2, 3, 4, I'm trying to get just a little bit stronger in all of the movements. Okay. I'm trying to increase my total volume each week. So leg day in week 1, I'm trying to get a little bit more volume. In week 2, a little bit more volume in week 3. So either I'm getting more reps, so I'm getting towards the higher end of my rep range, or I'm going heavier with the weight. Reps times weight is your volume, and you can do volume of a set or volume of a workout. So because I've been working out for a long time, I was focusing more on the total volume of the workouts. Okay, so there were slight changes to it. I'm giving the body a little shock. I'm giving the body a little shock, but gains, gradually they slow down, and then they become very, very incremental. So along with my standard training, my 5-day split, I'd sometimes do 15 to 20 minutes of cardio. So I'd get on a cardio kick, follow that up, all my workouts up with 15 to 20 minutes cardio. I try and mix the cardio up a little bit, running, boxing, walking on the treadmill. But this is how my training has been for years, other than when I was competitively boxing. Okay. Now, things happened, gym shut down, we're in a lockdown. So I started getting a little bit creative. So my first um, my first iteration of a program was upper body, lower body, upper body. So remember, this was in March in Canada. It is still absolutely freezing cold. So my first iteration, like I said, was upper, lower, upper, a lot of body weight training or small dumbbells. So I had access to up to 20-pound dumbbells at home, and I did have 5-pound increments. So I did at least have that. But as it evolved, I then started adding more days onto it. And then I started switching what I was doing. So at this point, I've got to a 5-day split like I was doing at the gym. But I've got day 1, I've got all upper body. So I'm doing some body weight training, like push-ups. I'm also doing light weight training. So I'm doing higher reps for like dumbbell flies, bicep curls. I only have access to the 20 pounds. So again, I'm going higher reps. Okay. I'll finish that up with 5 3-minute rounds of shadow boxing. So my background is bodybuilding in when I was really young, and then into my early 20s, started getting a lot more competitive boxing because as a younger teenager, I had trained in boxing, and then for a while switched over to competitive boxing in my early 20s. Okay, so that's what I used. I started getting back to my basics, or my back to my roots, I should say, with the boxing. And then I did 15 minutes of flexibility mobility. Day 2, I just went for a run, a 2.5-mile run. It actually started as an 800-meter run around a track that's near my house, and I would add a lap to it every week. Okay, and I got to a maximum of 2.5 miles. And now I just try and continue to run it faster. So then I'd walk home after I've caught my breath. I'll do 5 3-minute rounds of skipping, 20 minutes of flexibility and mobility. Day 3, a mile run. So I'm just challenging myself in a mid distance, trying to get a little bit faster. I do a parkour workout, meaning I'll go right to the park, kids looking at me weird and everything. I'll start doing pull-ups on the equipment. I'll start doing flag pulls on that like fireman's bar that they have at the park. I'll start doing muscle ups, stuff like that. And then again, you'll see 15 minutes of flexibility, mobility. Day 4, plyometrics. So I'm doing a lot of sprint training and jump training. I'll finish that up, 15 to 20 minutes of flexibility and mobility. Day 5, so just recently, in the last couple of months, I added this day 5, where at a friend's house, they've got a bag, and I do 3 rounds of hardcore bag work. I'll do 3 rounds of shadow boxing, 15 minutes of body weight training. So I'm doing stuff like handstand push-ups, and then I do 15 minutes of flexibility and mobility. So I want you to notice the difference between the standard bodybuilding split and what I did. Okay, so what are the immediate benefits you can see here? For one, we're training the body from a lot of different angles now. So we're doing some weights and body weight training. We're doing running. We're doing plyometrics, so increasing your sprint and jump power. And one thing you really notice in there every single day, just doing some light flexibility slash mobility training. So I'll just go on YouTube. I'll look for mobility exercises, and I look for a 15-minute program, and I just follow along with it. Okay. So when I was doing my normal times training, I was clocking in around 230 pounds. If I'm not getting ready for a bodybuilding competition, I'm 12% body fat. So I feel pretty good. Like, I'm looking fairly muscular. You can see kind of the basics of all the muscles. I've got some abs showing, not too fat. So my body had about 27.6 pounds of fat and 202 pounds of lean. So with all of this training, one might go, well, now Sean is not lifting all those heavy weights. His muscles must be shrinking, but not really the case. So at this point today, I've actually weighed myself at 216 pounds, 8% body fat. And the way I'm measuring that is I actually have calipers that I'll use on myself. So I went down in my body fat, and you can see I have lost a little bit of muscle, but I've lost 10 pounds of fat, 10 pounds of fat by running more, by training with my body weight more, okay, focusing on my eating. And I've only lost 3 and change pounds of muscle. Okay. My 1 mile time has increased. So, or it decreased, I should say. So it went from 7 minutes and 15 seconds, which is reasonable, to a 6 minute, 10-second mile. So a lot quicker. one of the things I was doing in my weight training, my body weight or my bodybuilding training, is I was working through a shoulder injury. So I've actually torn both my labrums. So it put a lot of stress on the rotator cuff. I decided instead of having surgery, based on the doctor's recommendations saying I can push through the pain without tearing my labrum further, I was pushing through a lot of pain. And my shoulders were always in pain, but I didn't want to lose the gain, so I'm always pushing heavy. Well, this lockdown forced me to go lighter with the weights, get creative with my training, and as a result, I've experienced a lot less pain. I also have a lot more feeling of general wellness and athleticism. Like I feel from 230 pounds, there aren't too many athletes that are 230 pounds. At my height, I'm about 6 feet tall. There aren't too many athletes other than bodybuilders and some of the power lifters, stuff like that. But that athletic, light, fast, agile feeling, there aren't too many people hanging around at 230 pounds. So at 216 pounds, losing 10 pounds of fat, I feel a lot more limber. I feel healthier. I feel like I can breathe even better. My body feels great. And notice I trained flexibility and mobility a lot more. When we're doing our bodybuilding training, we're really killing those muscles for a full hour. And we're trying to add a little bit of cardio for the fat burning benefits, right? So with these workouts, I would train about 40 minutes and I had a full 15 to 20 minutes of just nurturing my body with this flexibility and mobility training. Okay, so um, a lot more general feeling of wellness and athleticism. Did a lot more ab training. So for a lot of people in the gym, they're doing lots of ab training anyways. But a lot of us do kind of forget the ab training. So for me, my basic theory was, well, when you're training heavy and you're engaging your core, you are also working your abs. But that's kind of a cop out. Yes, you're working your abs, but to directly work the abs will build more quality in that area. Okay, so there's a lot of immediate benefits. Um, now that the winter is here, I can't do all the same stuff I did in the summer. So doing, hardcore sprints and jumps outside might not be as feasible, especially there's ice outside. You don't want to slip, break legs, all that kind of stuff. So now my next iteration happens. So being in Canada, it's now almost January. Um, I've got to get creative. So I want to get back to nature. So stuff I can do is something like uphill runs. So I will put on my boots, my winter boots, and I'll do uphill runs. And if you've never tried that before, I can guarantee you it's an experience like you haven't felt before. So doing, a hill that might be 10, 20 meters, maybe even 30 meters, running up there in the snow in your winter boots, I can tell you that will jack up your heart rate doing that, 10 to 20 times. So you're running up, you're walking back down. So I might replace one of my runs with that, or I might replace my plyometrics with that. Also, think about having fun. So do you have kids? So I've got a little guy now. It didn't snow here when I had him. He's just left me. He's back in Quebec. But when I do have him again, and it's snowing, you know, just doing stuff like tobogganing. So toboggan down the hill with him, a good excuse to then pull him up the hill. So I'm basically doing weighted training uphill, stimulating the legs, stimulating the abs, getting the cardio going. And then basically you'll notice in my training split, I was doing no specific leg training anymore. So the leg training came from my plyometrics and my running, and that got great results for my legs. I've actually got more definition in my legs than I've had in a long time, other than when I was actually training for shows. Okay, so now I'll add some leg training, and that might replace one of my running days. So I still do want to get out and run. There's no reason you can't, even in the winter. You can wear one of those, what are they called? not the masks, but the other one, the neck gaiters to warm up your breath, and get out there and run. So winter's not an excuse to stop that. You just suit up, get out there, get a neck gaiter on, and get going. Okay, so I'm going to keep at least one running day, and then I'll replace the other by doing some indoor leg training. A lot of bodybuilders, right? So I train a lot of fitness athletes, and a lot of them are saying, well, home workouts aren't fun. Well, you can make them fun. And for me, it's still not as fun as training in the gym. So I do get you. Okay. For a lot of us who like to see others around us, maybe it's not as motivating. Okay. But we've got to motivate ourselves. We need to get in a positive mindset. And we need to think of what kind of excellent benefits, even from a bodybuilding perspective, can come from this. So if I'm somebody who wants to have bigger, harder, more solid muscles, I want to have more mass, more muscle mass, how can this benefit me? Like, maybe I don't care, Sean, that you lost 10 pounds of fat in your mile time. I care about my muscle. Well, you can guarantee that when you're doing this kind of training with just body weights, you're doing more running, you've completely shocked your muscles. So when I did my first run, I was gassing out. Okay. And now I am just running, I'm crushing it. I can tell you when I was doing my body weight leg training at first, I was getting killed. I'm not used to that. So a lot of these exercises I wasn't used to. And now when I go back to the gym, when I know that they're going to be consistently open again, I'm going to have a new energy and focus. I'm going to go in there like a tiger. Okay. And it's going to cause an extreme training shock. So in my case, I haven't been to the gym since March. I've done 2 workouts, and I can tell you the one workout I just did some arms. I got a pump like I haven't got in years because I'm not used to touching the weights like that anymore. And in turn, with this new shock, you can expect those gains to really amplify. So remember in my stats, I lost almost 4 pounds of muscle. I can promise you I'm going to put that on within a month. And then I'm probably going to grow my muscle at an exponentially faster pace than I was before because my body is shocked. This is a completely new stimulus. And then my goal is with diet, trying to keep the body fat down. So trying not to put any of those 10 pounds of fat back on. So imagine that completely shifting my body composition. If I can just get those 4 pounds of muscle back without putting on any more fat, imagine how I've just changed my body composition. And then I start exponentially increasing that pace. And finally, less injury. So when you're doing that bodybuilding training, we're essentially doing the same movement patterns day after day, week after week, phase after phase. But because I've switched my training up for so long, I can expect less injury. So those are the benefits, guys, to body weight train or to lockdown training. Uh, Awesome. Bill was on live. I can see a few people on live. Awesome. Thanks for joining me. So our goal going into the new year, I know in the UK, we're locked down. In Canada, in Ontario, we're locked down. And there's several US states that are locked down. We don't even have access to gyms. And a lot of us don't have these elaborate home setups. So I want you to get positive. I want you to get creative because there are a lot of benefits to lockdown training. And of course, because I'm a trainer, if you do need any help or support, you can message me by email, Sean@elitephysiquecoach.com. You can reach me through my Instagram @Sean Everingham, or you can message the page. So if you're watching the Facebook here, just message the page, any questions, or if you're looking for any programming tips. So go into New Year's 2021 with a positive attitude. Let's crush it. Keep your goals top of mind. Get creative. Do not let these lockdowns get you down, because there are benefits to lockdown training. And with that, folks, I will see you next week. Take care, guys.